He was the loneliest man in the world on the day of the burial, except for the priest. No one attended his funeral, only his grave was empty, but gradually filled with ghosts. They were all here to see him off for the last time. The deceased's name was Mr. May. He was a sole ferryman in life. This is the coldest civil service position in the area, specially responsible for the lonely death of the deceased. Find their loved ones. If they cannot be found, they have to be buried one by one. Mr. May's life was monotonous. He has no family and no friends. Every day he deals with unclaimed bodies, running around to their funerals. But the church was so big, except for the priest. He was the only one mourning for the dead. After listening to the prayers, he went to the storeroom. It was filled with ashes. Ashes that were deemed expired, although the policy states that these ashes need to be disposed of in a timely manner, but he wanted to allow more time so that they could have a chance to be picked up by his surviving family. Back in his spotless office, Mr. May opened his files, putting the photos of the deceased in an envelope. That's when he received a phone call. The caller was a family member who came to confirm information about the deceased, although Mr. May repeatedly emphasized no need to pay the funeral expenses. But the son on the other end of the line also firmly refused to attend his father's funeral. He had no choice but to sign and close the case. And this kind of example, for more than 20 years, Mr. May has seen it all. No one wants to remember the dead. He can only replace the relatives. He can only frame the photos of the dead into a photo album to prove that they had been in this world. In addition, he would write a eulogy based on the dead person's belongings. He writes a eulogy in the church. He listens to the priest tell the story, the life of the deceased that he had imagined, and finally follows the hearse in silence to see them through their final journey with dignity. This time, when he was done, Mr. May lay down in the open space of the cemetery and imagine that after his death, will he be like them? No one would ask for them. The next day, Mr. May received a phone call. Another tragedy. The deceased was at home, dead for weeks before being found. By gathering information, Mr. May learned that the victim's name was Billy. From the scattered bottles of wine on the table, the unkempt and humble surroundings, it was easy to see he liked to drink heavily before he died, and not a good life. Careful Mr. May also found a photo album, and it were pictures of Billy's wife and daughter before leaving. Mr. May looked at the sofa in the corner. Billy probably sat on it and died alone. The next day his boss found Mr. May, said that because of the financial pressure of the local, had to cut back on staffing, so they decided to lay him off. The supervisor was very unhappy with Mr. May's. He was very unhappy with the inefficient burial. He prefers cost-saving cremation.
I think you should see this as an opportunity for a new beginning, don't you? A new life. I'm sure the council's references will enable you to find new and challenging work. A job where people are alive for a change.
As for Billy's case, his supervisor gave him 3 days to finish IT. IT would be his final case. Late at night, Mr. May opened his photo album and found that there wasn't a single photo of Billy with his family. A man alone and without love. Maybe that's why the reason why he drank heavily in order to make the best of the last case. Mr. May needed more information about Billy's life. He took Billy's card and went around the neighborhood asking around for clues. But nothing came up. On the way back, he found Billy's belongings the landlord had left in the trash. He took it back, and in the process of sorting it out, he found a film. After developing it, he found an important clue in the photo, Akajim Bakery, and so it was done. Mr. May took the train to his destination, and here he found an uncle who knew Billy. He told Mr. May Billy had been an employee of this factory. He was known to be grumpy. In order to help the workers to get an extra 5 minutes of rest time for the workers, he often fought with management. He resigned after his success.
But before he does that, what does he do? Pisses in a vat of pork meat. Some of the batch got through. Pies never tasted so good.
Mr. May also learned from Uncle Billy had Mary, a girlfriend who sold fish and chips. After a period of investigation, he did find Mary in a store, and found Mary. Everything had changed a long time ago, but as far as Mary could remember, Billy had a pretty good image.
He could give you so much just in a day, you didn't want to be anywhere else but with him, do you know what I mean?
Mary's husband didn't think so. He thought Billy was a simple-minded, violent maniac. Once, because someone was molesting Mary, he put the man's arm into a frying pan. Then he was charged and left town. Mr. May wanted to invite Mary to Billy's funeral, but she refused, saying she didn't want to break up the family. Refused on the grounds that he didn't want to break up the existing family. On the way back, Mr. May brought back a fish. When he fries it in the evening, it makes a mess, as if to mock his trip was just as bad.